if the drama surrounding the secret lives of Mormon wives, if it has, like for me, left a very bitter taste in your mouth and a reality dating show sized hole in your heart that can only be filled by you, Taylor Frankie Paul, may I suggest a little Hulu reality series known as Farmer Wants a Wife. Now, this show is incredibly silly, but it's also one of my comfort shows because I watched a lot of it during my breast cancer treatment. And it was just the thing that my family needed to gather around and laugh at after these harrowing days of cancer treatment. And that's what I want to talk about today. So, the new season of Farmer Wants a Wife, Season 4, has premiered on Fox, and it is aired the next day on Hulu and Tubi. Now, if you've never encountered this show before, it is about, in this case, 3 farmers from America's heartland. They are poorly socialized and looking for love. And each of them are, I'm just going to say, assigned 9 wives to begin with. And I know these are women, like, dating on this dating show, but I call them wives because they function as his wife. And I'm going to get into that in just a minute. So, the show is one of those Hulu reality series where it's always fun to watch on the outlook that this is actually just a cult, like an X-Files cult. And these people are getting sunk deeper and deeper into this progressively disturbing experience. And we're going to talk about Season 4 today. So, the episode begins where all of these women, they keep them in a barn, which I think is so creepy. And as they head to this giant barn to meet their prospective husbands, it always reminds me of the kids coming into Pleasure Island on Pinocchio. It's like, oh, they have no effing idea what they're getting into. Okay, so this show was originally hosted by Jennifer Nettles, and I'll do a whole video about her because she's a style icon. But there is a new host now in this season and the previous season who is also a style icon, and her name is Kimberly Williams Paisley, aka Mrs. Brad Paisley. I think she was also in the movie The Father of the Bride with Steve Martin, but correct me if I'm wrong. So I love Jennifer Nettles and I love Kimberly Williams Paisley. It's one of the rare instances where I love both the host of the show. Kimberly Williams Paisley, we're going to be talking about her because she's hosting Season 4. She has this really fun, like, volleyball mom energy. Jennifer Nettles was more like a drill sergeant, like kicking the farmers into shape. And she's like, all right, huddle up, farmers. You know, you're going to start talking to these ladies because we got to get these ratings up, you know. And then Kimberly Williams Paisley's like, well, hi, girls. Hey. It's like, come on, let's all get together and talk some shit about the farmers. Okay. So she's got that volleyball mom energy. I really love Kimberly Williams Paisley. I stand, girl, if you're listening to this. Okay, so all the girls are gathered in the barn, and they parade each farmer out like a show horse. They all walk out to these progressively cornier country music tracks, which is hilarious. It always makes me wonder, like, what if the track skipped or like an ad loaded while they were walking out? That would be hilarious. So, as I review the new season of Farmer Wants a Wife, I want to give an award for every episode of a style icon. And we'll have some honorable mentions like Kimberly Williams Paisley's Forget-Me-Not dress and matching jewels. That is iconic. Also, girl in chiffon ruffled pink dress. You're killing it, girl. But today, the Style Icon Award, and let's have a drum roll. Season 4, Episode 1 of Farmer Wants a Wife goes to the girl in the blue denim dress. I mean, this thing is vibes. Whoever you are, lady, I will list it in the credits. You're killing it in this dress, girl. I am so sad you were not chosen to go back to the farm, because I would have loved to see her rock some more outfits. She was killing it in this one. Okay, so it cuts to the girls as the farmers are coming out, and one girl says, "Why is my heart racing?" And I say, "Girl, you need to go get your heart checked. You need to go to a cardiologist, because these farmers aren't really that interesting, and they aren't even that hot." So there are 3 farmers, and they're always addressed as farmer, so and so, which is so creepy, and it just gets more of the cult overtones on this show. So the farmers are Braden, Sean, and Brett, and Braden is immediately like distinguished as the quote hot farmer. Is immediately distinguished as the hot farmer of the group. So they all come from like farms in the heartland, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Oklahoma. It's always funny. They always seem to be those 3 states in the show. Brett tells jokes that are not funny, but the girls laugh in that way that, you know, women conditioned to laugh at men's carrying on does. Brett also has these really creepy expressions when he looks at the camera, and it's like he's trying to break the fourth wall in a comedic way, but it just comes off as like really eerie, like he's a serial killer. So Brett is, none of these farmers are very well socialized, and I mean they grew up in, you know, Fall, Iowa, and Podunk, Oklahoma. I mean, I did too, okay? I grew up in the Tennessee Valley of Alabama. I get it, okay? So these fellows, they don't exactly have a social life. And in every season, the host, in this case, Miss Paisley, will always present this to the farmers. Like Braden, she's like, well, Braden, you're a good-looking boy, and you have a successful farm. Why haven't you been married before? Why haven't you have a girlfriend? Like, Kimberly Williams Paisley immediately becomes your aunt at every family dinner, asking you, well, why the hell do you not have a spouse yet, or kids? Why haven't you given me great nieces and nephews yet? So and the farmers never just answer the question directly. Instead, they always give like this roundabout answer. It's just like, well, you know, when you know, and I'm just going to hold out, Kim, until I find the right girl, and I will not compromise. And then it's like SpongeBob, it's like 5 seconds later. And then like the farmer's like, well, I'm going to take her back to the farm because I like her dress, or she showed me this neat magic trick. Like, it's so superficial for a show that is pushing like finding true love, finding the one, finding that spouse you're going to spend the rest of your life with, have children with, grow old with, die beside. And it's like, I'm going to choose this girl I've met 5 minutes ago. Like, there's no way they can make a meaningful connection. And it's such it's kind of a hypocritical paradox of this show. Another kind of creepy thing about the show is how the women are incredibly interesting people. I was looking at their ranges of career. There was this girl from Montana. She was a woodworker. You know, I have a 12-year-old sense of humor. But like there was like a track star. There was just all these people with these amazing careers. They had neat hobbies. They were talking about their families. Some of them had kids. Like, yeah, and they had these interesting lives in cities and countries, like from all over. And the farmers in comparison are so boring. And look, I love farmers and I support farmers. They feed the country. They're my heroes. But these farmers on this show, these particular 3 farmers, are just not very interesting. Like, they aren't even that good looking. At one point, a girl describes Braden as a farmer Bradley Cooper. And I'm like, yeah, I see the resemblance, but I would definitely call it a Temu Bradley Cooper. And so, this is the point where they're like telling all of the farmers frankly boring lives. And it always gives you these eye candy shots of the farmers. In this case, like moving hay bales or communing with horses, like George, like Brandon Fraser in George of the Jungle. And it always shows them with a white dog, which is so funny. They always have a white dog, don't they? So one reason for this, like, thirst trap eye candy shots of these farmers is because a lot of people who watch this, you know, are people who watch this for the eye candy. Like, they watch this for the cute farmers, okay? So they start to parade each girl out. She always has to walk down a drive to a country music track in very uncomfortable heels. And they have to, like, at one point the farmer even comments on it. He's like, damn, you had to walk a long way. Like, I only had to walk like a few feet to enter the barn. It's also creepy how the women are never allowed to approach the farmer. They always have to go through the camera people or the producer. Like, it's so creepy, but the farmer has access to them. And again, it just ups the X-Files cult vibes. Now, when I say the, like, X-Files cult vibes, this is a joke. This is all a parody. I'm not saying the show is actually, like, you know, a cover for, like, a cult conspiracy. It's not. This is just me telling jokes about a reality dating show that I love to watch and laugh about. So then all the girls are paraded out, and I can't keep up with all these women. So I'm going to tell you the few that stick out in my mind. And these were most of the ones that were called back to the farm. So at the end of the show, the farmers get together and they each decide which out of each of the 9 women assigned to them they're going to take back to the farm as their, quote, permanent wives. Now, from that batch, he will choose his one true love. Now, I keep saying his wives because in every respect they act as his wives, and I'll get to that in a minute. So they're starting to parade the women out, and they're pretty interesting people. And when I mean interesting, I mean creepy as hell. So Hannah does this trick where she gives Brett this little wish packet. And it's this little packet of paper, and he pulls it out, and it's a star. And she says, make a wish. And he's like, what? And she's like, make a wish. And he does. And she's like, what did you wish for? And he's like, I don't want to say. And she's like, you have to tell me, Brett. Tell me. And she looks into his eyes and just, like, telepathically hypnotizes him into saying he loves her. And I'm like, that is some creepy-ass manipulation, but not as creepy as Carson. Two-time Miss Texas Crazy 2025 Miss Carson. Carson is so funny, and she is just pageant crazy, and I get it. But I love you, Carson. You are adorable with your crazy eyes. So then each of the farmers have to set in like these progressively weirder sets. And one of them, Sean, always looks like he's in like a semi-abandoned Cracker Barrel, which I know the audience will love because, you know, people love them some Cracker Barrel. Also, all of the farmers, like, present as cowboys, like with the big 10-gallon hats and the huge belt buckles and the boots and the jeans and like the chambray shirts. But they are mostly not cowboys. Like, they're like soybean farmers, which are awesome. Soybean farmers are very important, but you know, they're not cowboys. It almost makes me think that the girls get there thinking they're going to get this cute-ass, you know, cowboy, and what they get is a soybean farmer from Iowa, which is fine, but they wanted a cowboy, damn it. I wrote in my notes, they can't all be cowboys. Also, where have all the cowboys gone? Paula Cole. Okay. So there's 2 pageant queens. One of them is Miss Orlando, and she's not chosen to go to the farm, and I'm very sad. I wanted to see a battle of the crazy pageant queens. One of the women is, quote, a woodworker, and of course I had to giggle like a 12-year-old. Another girl comes with cake to the farmer and gives it to him. And she says, this is to tell if you are a vanilla or chocolate kind of guy. And I was like, now that ain't right. So then there's Casey. She saves Braden's life from a flying ant. And I'm like, buddy, you live in the country. Okay, I think you can handle flying ants. You know, don't be a weenie. Also, when the women get together, they're these super interesting individuals. And this is how you can tell the show was written by a man, I think, is that when they get together, all they talk about are the farmers, which, in comparison to their lives, is incredibly boring. And it's very much feeding into this, like, patriarchal fantasy of, like, men are the only things women focus on or do or center in their lives or talk about. And if you get a group of women together about 1% of the conversation is their men. Okay, they're going to be talking about everything from their kids to the first season of Law and Order. That's not how it works. So we're introduced to some more wonderful ladies. Stephanie wants a water buffalo with Sean, and they're so cute about it. She's like, what if we had a water buffalo? She wants to, like, baby trap him, buffalo trap him. It's also really creepy how the women from the outset meet the farmer, and they're like, oh, this would be great at our wedding, or how many kids are we going to have? Like, I picked out all these names. I'm like, woman, that's creepy. Please stop. All right, that is super damn creepy. You've known this guy for 5 minutes. Okay. So then, Lauren. So, Lauren and Stephanie are the oldest gals in this weird show. And Stephanie's 31. And Lauren is only 28, which I consider a baby. Like, 28 is so young. And all the older women, and I can't even call them older, like older than the 22, 23-year-old girls, they act like they're expired. They're like, I have to find true love immediately. I'm going to expire. Oh no. Like, girl, you are 28 and 31. You are not old. Like, I want to tell Stephanie, like, you're 31, okay? You're super young. You're a baby. If you were 91, you might be a little worried about finding a spouse before you die. I don't know. But, like, people are literally out here in their 60s and 70s marrying the love of their life, okay? So just shut up with that misogynistic shit. So Lauren escapes from her pod of farmer wives. And she does not like Brett. Oh, no, no, no. Because she has been talking to the other ladies about how hot Braden is. And Lauren's like, oh, you don't say. And then she scoots on to the producer and demands to talk to Braden. And this is underhanded because the ladies in Braden's group, like, all had one chance. And Lauren got a chance with Braden and Brett, which is unfair. But I admire Lauren's moxie. Like, she's taking this very misogynistic patriarchal setup and weaponizing it and getting her way, and I can't help but admire her. She's clever in a Scarlett O'Hara kind of way. It's also then the farmers get together, and like, instead of Braden asking Lauren how she felt about going to his farm or whatever, he goes to Brett, her quote farmer, to ask if she can go with him. And I'm like, that is so creepy. Like, she's property. Not surprised. Also, the women that are rejected ultimately act like they're being exiled in the wilderness, and considering this show, I wouldn't be surprised if they are. But in all of these dating shows, when someone is cut off of a person they've known for 15 minutes, they act like they're being exiled in the wilderness, and they're going to have to fight off grizzly bears and be eaten to death by wolves. It's like The Grey. It's like a Liam Neeson wants a wife, you know? So, then I wrote, these farmers are such mid guys, and then they choose their ladies. Brett, of course, chooses the woman who hypnotized him ultimately, Hannah. She has some, like, evil eye voodoo on this guy. He chooses Stephanie, 31. Oh, my life's over if I don't get married by next year. Cassie, Quinn, and Heather. Then we have Braden. And Braden chooses Cameron, Casey, Brittany, Miss Crazy Texas Pageant 2025, Carson, and that little sneaky minx, Lauren. Because he's like, she's just so bold, and I just love her so much. In every season, in season 1 it was Alan, and it's in every season of Farmer Wants a Wife, there's this super shy and mild-mannered farmer, and I'm not making fun of him. He's a very timid person. I'm a very timid person in real life. And they always seek, like, a woman who, like, is outspoken and who will do things to get her way. And I see this immediately with Braden and with Lauren. And I have hopes for Lauren. She is so entertaining. And she's on the same team as Carson, and I'm already calling it. These two ladies are going to rumble. Okay? Sean chooses Macy, Olivia, Allie Beth, who has the cutest little southern saying. She's from South Georgia, and she's like, well, I believe my throat was too dry to make a duck call work. And like in every season, there's a character in Farmer Wants a Wife who has these really folksy sayings. It was Hunter in season 1, and Allie Beth's going to be that one in season 4, I think. And then he chose Emily, and hey, another Carson, spelled with an S-O-N this time. So they're all going to go back to their designated farms with their farmers and battle it out to see who will be top wife. And I say this because the women who go back to the farms are treated in every respect like the farmer's wife. Immediately, they start doing free labor for him. They have to do domestic chores for him, cooking for him, all the while he is supposed to be courting her and deferring to her. And maybe it's the Leo in me, but that just drives me up a damn wall. So we're going to see how it goes and see if this turns into a Murder Cult X-Files episode. Y'all have a great one, and we will see you in episode 2 of Farmer Wants a Wife, season 4.